my ministry is just, I just throw my ministry away. I'm like, and she said, oh, that's all right, I was in the audience. I saw you. It had not been on television, but in fact, she'd been in the audience. What are the odds? And what's really sad is I look like poop that night, so either I look like poop all the time or I look good all the time. How are we doing on time, Tim? 5 minutes? Oh man, I'll try to squeeze in this one. Well, Big Red, this is my Big Red suitcase. I call him Big Red. And yeah, imagine that. So, airport is covered. Now, I've got this in Europe, but you know, it did lead in pretty good. Thank you for that joke. I'm just kidding. So anyway, so I love to travel. I got the opportunity to go to Europe and speak to single adults. And I went to Slovakia, and I went to Poland. I have relatives in Poland. And as I shared with the group last night, you can't have white trash in other countries as well, as related to you. My girlfriend Stacy said, Kris, whatever you do not bring a big suitcase to Europe. Kris, whatever you do not bring a big suitcase to Europe. They're not they don't have little cars and little elevators, and they can't accommodate it. So she wanted me to bring her some diet soda. I'm like, how am I going to bring it in a little suitcase? So I brought Big Red. Now, of course, I get up at the airport, and when I get at the airport, the first thing they said was, ma'am, we're going to have to take a look at the contents of Big Red. I said, okay, well, let me have another, ma'am, we'll look at it. I go, let me just, ma'am, please step behind the line. Ma'am. Yeah, but there's things there. I don't want you to mix it up. Ma'am. And you're right on the edge of knowing that the next thing is going to be, come get her, right? So I said, okay. So he looks at it and takes everything out. I packed it all nice and neat. You should love that, right? He puts it all back in it because it was full of a lot of stuff, right? So I get all the way to Europe and I get into Kosciuszko. I hope I said it right. Anyway, I get into Kosciuszko and I pull in and again, people are telling me, I hope you didn't bring a big suitcase. So I finally get to the one turnstile, because they won't let you, just grab your bag. They put it on one turnstile that they had in the whole airport. And it's coming off and gets stuck in the little conveyor thing because you don't bring a big bag to Europe, right? So I finally get out to the curb and there's a taxi guy and my friends are there and they go, Kris, you didn't bring a big bag, did you? And I'm like, didn't we tell you do not bring a big bag to Europe? I said, well, I'm sorry. And all of a sudden the driver from India goes, oh, no. Didn't need to tell you should not bring a big bag to Europe. He goes, oh, no, I cannot lift that bag. That is going to hurt my back. Oh, no, you need to roll it right beside the taxi and we go to the hotel. I'm not putting it in my car. And it's serious, it's a little car, right? So we keep holding it, I'll put it in the back right, because it weighs 80 pounds. That's not too bad, right? 80 pounds? That's like my left leg, right? I can pick it up, look, right? So we get to the hotel, we're too close to the monitors. We get to the hotel, and I get on the little elevator, and I look up and I go, I know how much Big Red weighs, and I know how much I weigh. And I'm like, I said, hey, Stacy, you might want to go to the next elevator. I said, see, Kris, I told you, don't bring a big suitcase to Europe. Well, too bad, right? Well, anyway, so I had some incredible time. I got to minister to all these single adults and explain to them how America is different than their country. And there's just such a need because in Slovakia, you can minister to the single adults there and they can go and reach single adults in other countries that we're not allowed to come to. So it's a great place to go and minister. So anyway, it was about that time for me to go to Warsaw and I decided to take the midnight train. Take a midnight train to Warsaw. Anyway, and let me give you a little advice. Don't take a midnight train to anywhere in Europe, okay? It is not comfort, okay? Let me just tell you. It is the bare essentials. I was trying to multitask. If I could sleep going through the mountains, it was a 12-hour ride. If I could sleep, then, I would save some time. I'd have time for family and people when I get on the other side. So anyway, so I go down to the train station. I'm carrying Big Red with me. And I'm in the train station with my friend Stacy, and I got to go. I'm like, oh, I got to go. Where's the bathroom? She's over there. Okay. I get over there like, hey. I said, can I just go, want to go back? I'm like, what? Want to go back? I'm like, what? I got to pay to use the toilet? She said, want to go back? I'm like, I gotta go. And I ran back to Stacy. I said, Stacy. I didn't want to go back. I gotta go. She goes, hold on, try to find something. And she found something, right? So I we have in America as far as ministry. So finally he says, hey, would you like a cafe? And I said, oh, sure. And he kind of nodded to this guy who was wearing a little cloth on his arm. I'm like, now this is a ticket, right? I said, they should have this on the last tray, right? Yeah. I mean, come on in here, wherever you are. And he gave me a little cafe. He goes, would you like a croissant? I'm like, you're talking. I didn't get nothing on that last one, right? So he goes, okay, give me a little croissant. I'm like, this is sweet. Yeah, my croissant, drinking my little cafe, right? So he goes, I said, you know, I've talked to you for 3 hours, and I don't normally ask anybody what they do for a living because not everybody likes their job, not everybody has a job, and not everybody feels their job reflects who they are. But we've been talking for 3 hours, and you know everything I do. Well, what do you do? He goes, well, I'm in Parliament. I said, Parliament, that's good. What is it, like a senator, or, you know, or something? He goes, oh, no, a little bit more than that. I said, okay, so you're like in charge of, you know, you're in Parliament for like Warsaw? He said, no, a bit larger. I said, for like Poland? Oh, no, a bit larger. I said, well, what are you? He goes, oh, I'm the vice president in charge of Parliament for all of Europe. He goes, that is my personal croissant, my personal cafe, and this is my car that you're in. This was his private car. I ate his croissant, drank his coffee, and that was his butler. And he had a private car for him. He was in charge of vice president, in charge of all of Parliament and all of Europe and the power that he had. So I just kind of stood there for a while, shell-shocked, and go, but why didn't you? He goes, you know, it was just too much work to move you again. And he says, besides, you never stood long enough for me to tell you to move. So I said, okay. And he goes, but you know what was neat, guys? Is I got this great opportunity to talk to someone of power in Europe. And he didn't understand who we were, you know? So I came back from that trip, and Big Red came with me, and then got lost. Big Red has been on a lot of trips with me, and he's got lost. I got robbed once with Big Red, so I got really tired of Big Red. I put him on turf, let him go to heaven. You see there's some jet fuel on the front of them. That was on one of my trips. I had to put air him out for about 3 months to get rid of that smell. And I put him out on the curb. Everything's been broken. The tops were broken. The zippers were broken. It's a big suitcase. How do you lose that? How do you break it, you know? And a friend of mine called me up and says, Kris, can you come and tell some stories of you and Big Red? And I went, great. I had to go the curb and get Big Red off the curb. But it has gone through a lot of stories with me. And I am very blessed to be in singles ministry and to be able to go and share with others. In Philippians 3, God says, Paul says about his experience with those that he's writing to. And he's telling them that, you know, as soon as they had known who Christ was, as soon as they knew, they joined him in reaching others. Christ didn't say, okay, get to know me, and then after you get it all together, after you get all the things that you're supposed to have, especially that spouse, then you go tell people about me. He doesn't say that. That when you know him, tell somebody else what you know. It might have been only 5 minutes that you knew something. It might have been that he saved your life. It might have been that he encouraged you or put his arm around you, and that's all you have to tell, but tell people. Because I'm telling you guys, as a single adult myself, there are some days that are really tough being single. You gotta laugh, right? You gotta laugh at yourself. There's some days that I don't always like doing this ministry because it's tough. Singles are tough. They wear you out. They take the life out of you. There's so much stuff. But the days when they get it, the days when they finally say, Kris, I now know what I'm supposed to be doing, it's so worth all the trouble. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep traveling. I'm going to go all over this earth as long as I can. If I'm on my dying breath, lay on the ground and say, Jesus, there's one more thing I got to say. You know, if that's what it takes. And I pray that you're committed the same way to be where God has you now until he moves you somewhere else. Thanks a lot, guys. Amen.